What up? Hello, greetings, greetings, greetings. Hold on, guys. Greetings, welcome, guys, welcome. Hold on, I need to fix my camera. All right, guys, I am so glad that you guys are here. I know you cannot see me for some reason. I have no idea. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Wait a minute. All right, fine. I need to. Oh, is that the reason why you guys cannot see me? Wait a minute. Yeah, like for some reason I'm frozen somewhere else. That's not me. Look at that. Hold on, guys. This is strange. All right, let me fix my camera because something is not right. Okay, something is not right. Hold on, let me do. All right, hold on, guys. Yeah, you see, this is the picture that's there. All right. And we are back. All right. Sorry, guys. We had some technical difficulties. Okay. But I'm glad that you guys are here. Okay. So, sorry, we lost a little bit of time. So, we're going to get right into it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, fine. Let me see you guys. You can hear me. I guess all is well. Apologies. Welcome to Burn Your Babes. I'm your host, Vale Chikuni. We begin part 2. Okay? So we'll be continuing where we left off from last time. But if you're just joining us, do not worry. This story you'll be able to pick up even where we are going to pick up from. Okay? So welcome, guys. I think the camera, everything should be fine. My husband has come to the rescue. Okay? So I appreciate that. Otherwise, I just panic. Hey, why am I here? I'm talking, but the picture is not the picture. All right, guys, let's just get right into it. So as you know, we are continuing with our story where we have, Niyah went viral when she put out her video that she left her fiance of 4 years. They were living together as to why she called off the engagement. So Latera's Mr. and Mrs. Whitfield had, her on their show, and then she was explaining why all these things happened. Okay. So we're going to continue from there. I'll be stopping it along the way, but I'm interested to know what you guys think with this whole matter. Okay. So let's just get right into it. Here we go. Yes, I put over there. Is this struggle love or what's going on over there? So let me know what you guys think. All right, fine. Let's get right into it. Okay, I've increased the speed so we can cover as much as possible. Okay. All right, here we go.
Just to do things in decency and order. That the pain of a breakup is pain enough.
Okay.
A pain of a failed engagement is even more. But then when you got to go through all this other stuff that you're going through, and it's just because I saw the video with you moving out or whatever, and I was like, I know that's trauma right there.
Yeah.
I know that hurts. You got to find your own life. Your friends come together to help you move out. Now they're witnessing this transition. It's a whole lot of just trauma where you go, and it literally, if I ask you, it probably felt like a divorce. It just felt like a whole divorce. Why did it feel like that? Have you ever experienced? You had breakups before, haven't you? Mm-hmm. What has it felt like this?
This was different in the sense that I think before, because I wasn't engaged, when I broke up with someone, it was much easier to walk away.
So to me, I've noticed that she is being asked leading questions. Okay, this lady has never been married before. So she broke up with the guy. She has no reference point in terms of, it felt like a divorce because she's never been married before. Lateras has been married before. So he can relate to that because he's been divorced before. You see what I'm saying? So leading the questions like, did it feel like divorce? Because this feels like divorce. How would she know that it feels like divorce? She was never married before. You know what I mean? Living together with a boyfriend and girlfriend, it is not marriage, okay? So, yeah, whatever you want to fill in as the feelings that she might be experiencing as a breakup, you can't say she felt like a divorce. She's never been divorced before, so she doesn't know what it feels like to be divorced. All right, fine, let's continue.
Of course, the breakup was sad, but it still was like, once I detach and I feel that in my soul, that's not my person, I can walk away and never look back.
Really? You don't ever spin the blocks?
I've never spent the block. ever. But with this, it was different because we were engaged and it was public. I made it public. I talked about it. I put him in some of my content. So there was even more of like a incentive to make it work and to figure it out. And because we were living together, there was just so many things that honestly, because we were engaged, did feel like marriage, even though I knew we weren't married. So I could walk away, but I still tried like so hard to make it work.
People assume that that was probably easy for you. I want you to spend a little moment about what made it so hard, because even what you're saying now, I understand when you say I made it public, so now I have this different incentive to make it work, so I don't look like a failure in front of everybody. Mm-hmm. But I want you to elaborate on that as best as you can.
I think what made it really hard, especially like in the months where we were in therapy and I was honestly like fighting with myself, like, do I stay? Do I not stay? I'm unsure. He and I are having these conversations back and forth. You know, there were moments where he even told me, you know, if you want to walk away, like you can 100% walk away. I won't hold you to the fire. But I still like, I wanted to make it work. And I remember at the time he was saying he was working on this project and he was like, just give me to the end of the project. Just give me to the end of the project. And I think the project ended like,
I find that to be very interesting. So these two, they were they were in therapy. I don't know what was happening in therapy in terms of, it doesn't look like they were able to move past the issues that they had, even though they were going through therapy. So I don't think it was even helpful. The fact that this guy would actually, came out and tell, like, you know what, if you want to walk away, you can walk away, I would understand. So if this guy put a ring on you, he's planning to marry you. And, when was this guy, when was this guy going to allow you to be his wife? I don't think this guy was planning to marry her. He was enjoying all the fruits that comes with marriage, but I don't think he was going to marry her because they were living together for 4 years, guys. That is a very long time. So because she already shared at the beginning that she pushed for the engagement, she pushed to be living together. So that tells me when it came to the marriage, she failed to push that. It looks like this guy was like, that's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you should have asked him, like, how come this guy is not telling you, like, I want you to meet me at the altar in your white dress? You know what I mean? So that never happened. So here she is recounting everything else that happened. Welcome, guys. I'm glad that you're here. And Sima's good to see you. Susan Ross, thank you. All right, let's continue, guys. Okay?
October 31st or something like that. And I ended it, mind you, at the beginning of October, and come to find out he was still working on that project after the deadline. And I just remember thinking in my mind, like, what if I still kept waiting and trying to, for these things that he's working on to come to fruition or finish or work. And that's what made it hard, though, was knowing like he's such a good person and he's such a great guy. I love his family.
It's okay. And I was wanting you to touch on family, and you said it on your own, because when you get that grafted with somebody, you're not just breaking up with him, you're breaking up with the family. And some people may not understand how hard that is. But I'm glad that you will take a moment and you share what that meant for you to have to also break up with the family.
Yeah.
That's very
I talk to his mom a lot. And I could, like, even as we were kind of going through the last maybe 6 months, I definitely kind of talked to her less and less. And I could tell they knew there was something going on. They just didn't know what. And I know he didn't say. He's very private. And out of, respect for him, I just I knew she would ask. So I kind of distanced myself a little bit because I didn't want to lie either. But it was really hard. I think the thing that made the breakup so hard is, you have these memories with this person, right? And you look at them and you see just all the history that you had, and you just also the future that you talked about, right? We talked about kids and just our future and what that would look like, and it's just breaking up with everything. But at the same time, it's like I wanted so badly for him to be like the one. I didn't want it to be anyone else. Yeah. And so
I think she's correct there. That's why she stayed longer than she should have. She truly believed that it was going to happen with this guy. I don't think it would have happened. She could have easily stayed there for another 4 years. Because this guy was just like, what's the point, right? he already proved he wasn't going to marry her. But, she tried, like what she said. And I think that's even more, it's heartbreaking. The thing is, all these other things, the pain that she's experiencing, rightfully so, could have been easily avoided all the way for like 4 years, guys, is a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like the first year at the bare minimum, you should have known, like, oh, we are not going anywhere. The mistake was she moved in with this guy. So she was invested in this relationship. And now you're going to move out. All the stuff they were doing on social media, it wasn't just her moving out. Just like, wow, now I have to face my fears to tell the people, like, oh, guess what? This didn't work out. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's also what made it even harder for her to leave that guy sooner rather than, she waited too long. And I think because of her platform, that also played a role in her staying way too long.
I was like hoping and praying like things would get better and he would change or things would change or the circumstances would change or get better. And as time went on, I started realizing that I don't think they were going to change because I don't think that he truly wanted them to. And I don't fault him for that. He has his own goals and ambitions for the things that he wants to do. And when I met him, those weren't those things. It came after we got engaged. And I was there with him through, a lot of different business ventures that he wanted to, try. And I was very supportive. And it just got to a point where it just felt like, where are we going? Where are we being, led? Where are you leading us? And I just couldn't trust in it anymore. That's the truth.
Couldn't trust in the leadership. What are you thinking, Ashley?
I guess going back to leadership, was that mostly about his career choices? Was that more about like his leadership in terms of you communicating your emotional needs and kind of connectivity needs?
Mm-hmm. I will say our communication was actually really good. We had great communication. I could come to him about anything and no judgment whatsoever. Like, we'll figure it out. But then it really never got figured out. And I do sympathize with the fact that, he works a lot. He really does. And it's funny because the relationship that I had before him, the guy was so lazy. He didn't want to work at all.
God, give me somebody.
No, literally. So then I met him and I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Lord.
He works. Like, yes.
I got a working man.
Right, exactly. And, my parents always, there's all girls in my family. So, my parents always taught us too, like, work ethic is so important. Have a job, have your own money. And, it's crazy because in this circumstance, I didn't think that advice that she gave me, always have your own stuff, because if you're not happy, you can go. That ended up being something that, like, I remembered her saying, and I was able to do that, instead of having to stay because he was paying all the bills and I relied on him financially 100% that I couldn't, move out or do what I needed to do. So I will say, from a parent standpoint, that was something that I was able to take away. But I do sympathize with the fact that.
So that point there, I get what she's saying, which I understand, for you to be able to provide for yourself, things of that nature. However, most of the times when I see people say that, it lends itself to be, you want to be independent, okay? Because you're able to earn your own money, you can do all these other things as a woman. You become so independent, so much so that if a guy is in your life, it's just an extra or just an add-on. It's very difficult for women when they're in that situation to submit to the leadership of a man, because they look at, like, you know what? With or without you, I'm good. So most of the time, like, when women are independent, they're always going to back against authority. They're always going to back against any type of leadership in their life. As a result, they're the ones who are going to be almost like, playing the masculine, the masculine role, so to speak, right? Like the masculine energy is just going to be all over the place with the guy. So it looks like this guy was working so hard. I wouldn't be surprised if she was making more money than him. And he decided, okay, he was just going to work, make enough money. I don't know. That's the only thing that I can think of. But, they were young. He's working, but they're living together. But you guys you're still not getting married. That's the part that I don't get. So to me, it just tells me, I don't think the guy thought Niyah was a wife material. They were just living together and having the good time. So that's my opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know what you guys think. Okay.
That, he did work a lot. And I do think that he wanted to meet me there. He just couldn't get there.
So so he lacked the ability to get you guys to.
I think everything with him was surrounded by work. So it was just work. Mm-hmm. I have to be the one to suggest, let's go to church on Sunday. Or I have to be the one to suggest that we do things. And it just never felt like we're in lockstep in totality.
Okay. So how did it end? If you don't mind sharing that.
Hold on, before she say that, I want to ask you this, because that's going to go somewhere else. I just want to ask about, why do you think he works so much?
That's good.
I don't know what his ultimate goal is, to be honest, because when I was working, he worked a lot. It's crazy to say, but when we went on a break in July, it didn't really feel like a break because we already weren't sleeping together. Because he worked so much, he would fall asleep on the couch or honestly, some days not sleep at all. So sleeping together was not a norm anyway. So it was just very
Can you see how Niyah is just explaining this? And it's just so normal. Okay, it's just so normal. So the fact of the matter, yes, Mercy, we did cover it. This is part 2. Okay, so you're absolutely correct. And you can see how she's explaining, right? So this guy was working a lot. And when she was asked, why was he working a lot? And she says, honestly, I don't even know what his goals were. You were living with this guy and your intentions was to get married to this guy. You're there living together for 4 years and you didn't know what his goals were? You already said you had a good communication. That was never communicated during this relationship. And then she says, she'll suggest that sometimes they should go to church. Why even guys going to church? You are literally living in sin every day, but you guys living together. And then when she says, sometimes he will just sleep on the couch. Guys, I'll just this is not good. This is not wise. You know what I mean? I'm not against the guy working so hard and everything. You know what I mean? He's not married. He's a single guy. So if he wants to work to, get his affairs in order, there's no problem there. I don't blame him working so hard. He has no children. He has no wife. Okay? So that's exactly what he should be doing. Working hard, getting together for his future. But I think Niyah misses all that. All right. Let's continue. All right. Penlow,
I don't know.
Good to see
I
you.
don't know what his work goals are. I do know that he's an entrepreneur and he really wants to be his own boss.
And when what type of family did he come from? Did he come from a family that was successful, a very driven family where his father was an entrepreneur or father was successful? Did he grow up poor? Was it the opposite?
No, he grew up in a very, 2-parent household. Both of his parents worked. His dad had a very, successful career in his field. And yeah, his whole family, he's the youngest. His older siblings are married. They have children. So he's the last one to, get it right. So
I'm talking about in regards to money, to finances. Why would you think your man, your fiance would work so much?
I don't know. I know
men work so much.
I know why my husband works so much.
Guys, I don't know. To be honest, it looks like this guy, the fiance, does come from a good family. Because remember, it was his parents who did not want these two to be living together. Okay? And he's the last born. Everybody else in the family are married. He grew up in a 2-parent household. Okay? And I don't think that's a situation with Niyah. Niyah grew up, the mommy and daddy, they are actually separated. She shared that as well. They said they are married, but they don't live together, something to that effect, right? So I'm like, what's wrong with him working so hard? You know what I mean? Like, why? Are you guys getting it? To me, I'm like, okay, young man, I want you to work hard, get your coins, get married, and make things happen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not against him working so hard. That's good for a guy to be working hard. And I don't know, because it looks like Latas wants a different answer. Why is he working so hard? Why is he working so hard? If this guy was working so hard to avoid this lady, I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? They did live together. She already testified that their relationship was already over for all intents and purposes, but they were still living together. But the relationship was already gone. So what else was this guy supposed to be doing? Okay, I don't know. I'm thinking you'll be working hard.
Wow, why do I work so much?
My husband wants to give me a soft life.
Yeah. I do think
That was shots fired from Ashley, okay? Because Latas, before they got married, he put out a video saying, you know what? I want Ashley to have the wedding of her life. I want her to have soft life, a whole bunch of stuff, okay? Which is fine. I'm not against, Yes, make sure your wife has a soft life. Then he went out after 1 hour arriving from the honeymoon. He goes on a podcast and then he tells the world, like, oh, and by the way, she paid half of her wedding. And they'll be like, wait a minute, you promised a soft life. You will take care of everything about the wedding. And she paid half of the wedding. What's going on over there? I'm not against somebody paying off whatever they're wedding, right? But if you're going to say you're going to take care of everything on the wedding front, and then it turns out she's giving half, it's a legitimate question for people to ask. So that was, it looks like, that was a shade that came from Ashley there.
I will say, there was some back and forth after we ended things. And one of the things that I do like that does I don't want to say replays in my mind, but that sticks out. And he always said that there were things that he tried to shield me from as not to become stress for me. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that I find so commendable about him. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, knowing who I am and just how I move in the world, and I'm not afraid to work. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. There were things that I was a little frustrated by, because if we are talking about marriage together, right, transparency is so important. And I think had I known the things that he felt stressed out about then that I know now, I don't know that, I can't say we would or we wouldn't be where we are today, but I do know that I probably would have went back to work on my own. He wouldn't have had to ask.
So this is interesting, because Ashley asked you a question about leadership, a question. He's like, oh, we have really great communication. Mm-hmm. No, you didn't. Mm-hmm. You had you telling him what you felt and he not responding. That's why you didn't see action behind it. Communication is not just somebody saying something, somebody hearing them, it's somebody doing something. And finally, after the breakup, he was able to tell you what really was the issue, which made you say, had I known what I knew now, what I knew then, not saying we could have stayed together, but it would have helped something. And that's what I wanted to uncover. I wanted to get you to start thinking about the breakdown, that with all good intents and purposes, he was working as hard as he was because certain things wasn't working out the way he needed to work out to provide a life for you so that you did not have to work, so you could fulfill your dream, that you could chase your entrepreneurial endeavors. That is so essential because, like you said, what you experienced before is something totally opposite. Sometimes we got to be careful for the things that we pray for, because we can pray for certain things, get it, and then be like, I don't want it this way. Mm-hmm. And the dude is sitting there like, now your life.
Well, we need to find this fiance so we can interview with him, okay? I would love to. Here's the issue, okay? To me, right, I'm listening to the things that this girl is saying, and I'm already seeing how things went wayside, okay? So whatever the issues were with this guy, this lady, Niyah, portrayed herself let's not forget it, they lived together for 4 years. So this guy had a front row seat of what it meant to maintain the lifestyle that Niyah wanted. Okay? As a man, inherently, men want to take care of business, which is actually a very good thing. But because, to me, her life was more on the material side, that's why this guy decided, you know what, I need to work hard to make these things happen. I don't even think if that guy was going to tell Niyah that, you know what, whatever else they were making, I think is fine because she's the one who moved out of the house. So it looks like the dude had his own place, so to speak, right? So there were already things there that the guy had lined up prior to their relationship because she moved into his joint, all those other things, right? The point that I'm making, would she have lowered her standards to maintain their relationship in terms of material things, okay? I'm talking about material things. Because like her life, like she already shared, they want to go out every day. You know what I'm saying? They are partying fast life. These things cost money. So if this guy would have told like, you know what, Niyah, I don't want us to be going out like that. You know what I mean? Let's get ourselves together. Maybe some other time, not right now. Would she have listened to that issue? You ask me, I very much doubt, okay? So I'll show you, look at, this is her IG page, okay? So if you look at this page, guys, you can tell that she's, she has a very expensive taste, okay? And I mean, she works for it. She's, she has expensive taste and everything. Nothing wrong with that issue, okay? If you can afford it, by all means, go for it. But to me, I'm seeing some of these things might have played a role with a fiance. Like I cannot keep up with this issue. So let me work hard to match up with that. I'm suspecting that might have played a significant issue in their issues. Okay, so this is her here. Okay, so let's watch this clip. Take a look at this, guys.
Girl, I ended my engagement, moved out, and now I'm looking for a new place to live. Choosing not to move forward with something that no longer aligns is not wasting time. But staying out of fear or obligation is far more unkind. Marriage is forever, and forever is way too long to be stuck in something that you're unhappy in. Also, what do you guys think about this townhouse so far? Can I see myself living here? Yeah, I think I can, but let's look at the next one. So my next chapter is all about intention, clarity, and alignment. I'm taking my time, not rushing, and choosing what actually supports the life I'm building now. I'm looking for a space that has great lighting, good energy, and something that feels calm and happy. Okay, I actually really like this. I do love a townhouse vibe, but I also want to look at apartments, so let's go. Hear me when I say this. Time invested doesn't mean time owed. You don't owe anyone a lifetime because you gave them years. You're allowed to choose yourself at any point. Love is not enough if there's no peace, no alignment, and no emotional safety. Choosing yourself is never wasted. It's honest. I'm really enjoying this new season, moving forward thoughtfully and choosing what aligns. Girl, I ended my...
All right, so the word alignment. Okay, so yeah, so everything about her is about maintaining her lifestyle. Okay, she said good things about the guy. So what is it that you want? Do you want to be a wife? It comes with certain things for you to be a wife. Some of these things that, when you're single, there's certain things that you can do. But once you get married, they'll be like, you know what? I think as a husband, it'll be like, I want us to go this direction. I want us to go this direction. Is she willing to submit to the direction of the husband? If you ask me, I very much doubt it. So either she has to find a guy who is doing the very same things that she's doing. Otherwise, she'll always find herself in this situation. Okay, so I think she talked about the meeting with Ashley over here. Let's watch this a little bit.
Own my narrative instead of letting people assume and start rumors. Ending my engagement was the hardest thing I think I've ever had to do in my entire life. If sharing my story helps just one person, then it's worth it.
Today, we have someone who went viral on social media for letting us know that she ended things with her fiance. Welcome to Dear Future Wifey, Niyah Gonzalez.
Hey. The things that I wanted in a relationship were very different than what it is today. He was just so fun. We were going out a lot, just living a fast life.
life. As I grew older, those things became less important to me. And I think the things that he and I connected on were no longer there. He was no longer my best friend. He became my roommate.
Whose idea was it to move in together?
Honestly, it was me. I was pushing to move in together. His parents were so adamant on us being married before making that step.
Men are being so triggered by your experience, they already believe it before you even did it. All you did was validate their fear. You go against your own core values, let them move in with you, and then you put a ring on their finger, and then she ups and leaves you for no reason.
I think what got lost was the dating.
You had breakups before, haven't you? Mm-hmm. Has it felt like this? It's okay. When you get that grafted with somebody, you're not just breaking up with him, you're breaking up with the family. Some people may not understand how hard that is.
Also, the future that you talked about. We talked about kids and what that would look like. It's just breaking up with everything. I wanted so badly for him to be the one. I didn't want it to be anyone else.
How did it end, if you don't mind sharing that?
So you see, she's the one who moved in with the guy. It wasn't the guy. And she forced the part where they should move in. So I wanted to remind you guys, okay? All right, guys. So let's continue hearing what the questions that the Whitfield are doing. Zero pushback. It's almost like, oh, we understand you, Niyah. All these things happen. We are so sorry that this happened to you and everything. But you know what? It wasn't your fault. Things happen right now. Just move on and everything else. Okay? No. Niyah should not have moved in. Niyah should not have pushed for the engagement. 4 years is a very long time, guys. It absolutely is a long time. So let's continue to hear more. But guys, I went from this. Guess what we have? Okay? All right. Oh, let me do a full screen so you can see. Guys, we got the book. Okay, so yes, Student of Love. So Ashley was, there were shots fired from Ashley saying people are doing content on her husband. They've made so much money and everything else. No, Ashley, that is not true. Your husband knows how stuff works on YouTube, okay? So here it is, okay? So I have bought this. So I have contributed. I'm not going to return it, okay? We're going to read it and we're going to review it. See what the Student of Love is saying, guys, okay? So we got the book. We got the book, okay? You guys see it? Okay. You know, the cover is nice. You know, the cover, everything is beautiful. But, you know, we're going to go through the context. Not today. I need to read it, and then we're going to do a review, okay? So by public demand, you guys wanted this, so we got the book, okay? So here we go. All right, fine. So then it will be, we said, tell us on page XYZ, you said this, that, and the third. So, yes. So, Mrs. Whitfield, we're going to interrogate your husband based upon this. So, guys, you know, I'm going to let you know in advance when we're doing it so you guys can come in and join, okay? Yeah, here we go. All right, fine. About the book. All right, let's continue. All right. Welcome, guys. I am so glad that you guys are here. Welcome. While you're here, please, guys, please, make sure you subscribe, like this live stream, okay? And I enjoy seeing your comments. I always respond to the comments. When I read them, I read, and I always respond back. I do enjoy that, okay? So as we are growing, building over here. All right, guys, so like this live stream, okay? Don't forget, make sure you're a subscriber. Double check to make sure you're a subscriber. And always, you can support us on Buy Me a Coffee, as well as on Cash App, anytime that you're able to. And you can always join the membership, okay? I welcome your viewership, and I'm so grateful that you guys are here. But let us continue. All right, here we go.
Last dude couldn't even do this. I do this, and it's still a problem. That's what I'm saying, is at the end of the day, I wanted you to communicate why you think he worked so hard. And the truth is so you didn't have to work so hard. Mm-hmm. That's it. He worked so hard so that you didn't have to work so hard. And you said at the very beginning where he said, we agreed. Now, this is great communication. We agreed that I would come off of my job, not renew my contract with the station, and then go ahead and pursue something else. What was that entrepreneurial endeavor that you decided to pursue? Was it content creation?
It was content creation and then also a digital marketing agency. So of course I have my platform as an influencer making money from brand deals,
Right.
but I also help businesses with their social media and their content creation and marketing and stuff. So,
Because I heard you say you had a couple of clients, and so that's what you were talking about, clients that
Yeah,
you were working
exactly.
with from that standpoint. And so you were starting that off, and then you felt like you were strongly supported from a financial standpoint for him to cover everything else. He did it for you.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm always rally behind my brothers.
Yeah.
Because as men, I'm sorry to this brother that he couldn't communicate earlier what his need was, or I ain't gonna say his need. Thank you, Holy Spirit. His fear was. His fear was, I'm about to marry this woman that I can't take care of. It's his fear. See, as men, we're programmed to be what? Providers and protectors. That's it. We're not taught to.
No, Rateras, you're wrong. Absolutely wrong. Guys, this guy wasn't going to marry this woman. That wasn't going to happen. Okay? And it's not that the relationship went to the wayside because of finances. She already shared that their relationship went to wayside while she was working, and the guy was taking care of business in the house, and the lady was also contributing. So it's nothing to do with the finances. If a homeboy wants to marry the girl, you cannot tell me he was going to wait 4 years. I wouldn't believe it. I would not believe it. Okay? He already had his own place, and he had a job he was working. So the most thing that the person needed, like, okay, where are we going to stay? That was already sorted. She was working, he was working. Money was not the issue for them. In fact, when she got sick, she was not working. The guy was still able to take care of everything else. But their relationship was already over prior to her, stop working. So I don't believe that is the case, guys, okay? That is the case, guys. How come this guy, the first year, didn't marry? Second year, didn't marry her. Third year, didn't marry. Fourth year, didn't marry. And by the way, she is the one who walked away from the relationship. If she didn't want to walk away, she would have still been there. And this guy was not asking this girl, I want you to, meet me at the altar in your white dress. That wasn't happening. So clearly, it's nothing to do with the finances. I'm not buying it that it had to do anything with the finances. Okay, Penelope, yes, Ashley has been featured in the book, but I haven't read a single chapter yet. Okay, because the book arrived today. Okay, so the book just arrived today. Yes, so but Ashley, we already know that according to Rateras, Ashley was he prophesied. Now we are going someplace else. Like he was gonna get married, and he believed it was going to happen, manifesting it, and then put Ashley in the book. Okay, so no, we're going to feature that. Like no, tell us. Stuff is not adding up. Sarah, why are you laughing? But do you think she got? I don't know. I mean, she doesn't have to get paid. She already has her own platform and everything. This is just going to elevate her. So I don't know. I know other people do pay their guests to come on their show and everything. I don't think that's how Lateras operate. I very much doubt it. I'm not against people to get paid, Yeah, but is she a preacher or an elder in the church? Who are you talking about, Marcy? Okay, what is story has no real substance, no weight, no truth, just abuse this guy. Oh, shots fired. Why did she go fire again? Because oh my gosh, you guys. Where am I? All right, guys, let's get it. Okay. No, the book was $22 and some change. Okay, I got it on Amazon. It was $22 and some change. So yes, $22 some change. So well, I trust you're getting free advertisement over here, okay? But we bought it so we can take a look, and review it. Because you guys, you voted for that issue. So this was the labor of love. So, we'll take care of it. We'll read it, okay? All right, fine. So we'll see what shots Ashley will be sending our way. Because she's been, she does have a smart mouth, guys. Yeah, this issue is deadlocked before. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yes, I wait until this a colleague. You guys, man, you guys. All right, let's get back to the thing. Yeah, because I mean, man, we're going to review this book, okay? And I'll be very objective because he has decided to put some of the nonsense that he's been saying on his program in writing. So then that makes it, that makes it permanent, man, until he retracts. But, we'll take care of this business on a different stream. Right now, let's deal with Miss Niyah over here. So far, Niyah, on this program, she is not getting wise counsel, okay? You can interview somebody and you should be able, when they leave that interview, they should leave with something challenging their ideology, so to speak. Because we already know the fact that you were living together, all those other things, those things are wrong. There is no any scenario where that thing is right, okay? Because they were not married. So we don't even have to worry the situation. Oh, what about the guy and everything? No, it was wrong for the guy to entertain living together with a girlfriend, and it was wrong for Niyah to be doing that. So she's the one who is here saying these other things, right? So we're going to take her word for it until we hear what the guy is saying. I don't think he's going to say anything, but so far, let's continue with the Whitfields over here. Here we go. All right.
To be emotionally intelligent enough to say, hey, right now I can't protect you. I'm afraid. I can't prevent.
Oh, you know what? We wandered so much away, so we missed this point. So Lateras is saying this homeboy should have been honest enough to tell this guy, because the men have been programmed, the word, programmed that they are to protect, they are to provide. Guys, it's not that men have been programmed, okay? We go back to Genesis. Genesis. We don't get to define what a woman is, what a man is, what marriage is not, okay? Marriage is God's idea. Men from creation, right? Fine, let's go to Genesis, guys. Because when people do something like that to me, it actually bothers me. Like if you read the scriptures, okay? Let's go there. It can never be wrong for us to read the scriptures. Genesis 1:27. Okay? This. Here, what are you going to see over here? It says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. What are you getting over here? So, God created man in his image, and God created a woman in his image, okay? So, inherently, men and women are different, and God has made that permanent, and that's just how it is. That's why no matter how hard anything you can do, there is no way a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man. You can't change that. It doesn't matter how much money these people are paying, okay? So we know what happened to Bruce Jenner, okay? If Bruce Jenner, you're going to die, all these things are going to go away. Like, DNA of Bruce Jenner is Bruce Jenner. It doesn't matter right now. He's Karen Jenner, okay? Like you find whatever the code, it will always be Bruce Jenner, and that's just how God has designed things. With that, because men and women are different, God has equipped men, okay? Anybody who is male, already they're equipped to be providers and protectors, okay? Even if they're not doing it, it's in them, it's just lying dormant. You see what I'm saying? Just like women, right? Women are nurturers. So even if you're not doing it, right? You can be a bad mother, whatsoever. That thing is in you. You either gonna use it or you won't. The fact that you're not using it, that doesn't mean God didn't give it to you. That's why it's always wrong. Like when women take over, you know what I mean? It always goes to the west side guys. That's why when they say in the garden, okay, God wasn't going to, do you know what God was Adam, where are you? That's what God asked. Do you know why God was asking Adam, where are you? Because God had given the responsibility, the authority to Adam. Adam was the one who was in charge. Remember when Eve came on the scene, everything was already there. Adam was already working in the garden, okay? So, work is before the fall. Adam was already working in the garden. Adam was already taking care of the animals. He was doing all those other things. Eve came on the scene to do what? To be the helper. Eve came on the scene to do what? To be able to procreate. Because otherwise, Adam on his own, he couldn't. You see what I'm saying? So, the fact that a man already has those things in them, Rateras is saying men have been programmed. Programmed by who? Programmed by who? This is true everywhere else in the world. It doesn't matter. That's why even right now, it's because of this feminism. A lot of men have taken a back seat. Women have taken the front row seat. Okay? It was never heard of whereby you hear a woman is in the military going to the front lines. Because that was for men. Okay? Men are the ones who are going out there hunting. Women are always, okay, these are the things that women are going to be doing. But now, because, we know better, we want to compete. Men and women are different. Absolutely different. That's why it doesn't matter. Like, even look at athletics, right? Even if the guy is so bad at it, if you bring in men and women in it, I think there was a soccer match that happened between, some guys and some women, and men just annihilated them, all those other things, right? But we've undered away. But that just shows you, like, no, this is, God has made men and women different. So it's not that culture has programmed men to be providers and everything. God has an order, okay? There's an order to creation. There's an order to society. There's an order to how things should be done. And because we don't believe the scriptures anymore, because we believe like a woman can be a man and a woman, no. That's why, it is so important children to grow up in a two-parent household. Even if a child grows up with a single mom only, there is no way a single mom can be a mom and a dad. It's impossible. Okay? We know people say those things, but no, you can't. There will be things that are going to be missing because there is no way a woman can do that and vice versa. Okay? And, there's single mothers out there doing the best that they can because that's the situation they're in, right? The Lord is faithful to take care of those things. But you get the point. So let's continue to Lateras over here, trying to say men, whatever, have been programmed this way. No, okay? Scripture, that's what God has designed.
Provide for you. I just lost my job. Like, men aren't programmed to do that. They'll go, I got to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Like he said to you when he took you off the job, we'll figure it out. We're going to figure this out together. But when he's trying to find the nuances of trying to figure it out, and he can't, and he said, I can't tell her that, she's going to stress out. I don't want her to get another job, because if she gets another job, it looks like I failed. That's what this brother's saying. And so he knows that he told you something to come off your job, and he says he got it together, and then they get together. He said, don't worry. I don't care if I got to work 24 hours a day to make this pop off. I will do it because you deserve it. Mm-hmm. And no, he knows your work ethic. He knows you'll be like, you ain't got to do it by yourself. I got you, boo. He know that. He's like, but I told you not to. And I got you. I see you trying to jumpstart your business. I see you're doing this content creation. I got this. I want to show you what kind of man I got. I got this. What kind of man I am. I got this. And I just want to encourage men out there that you don't have to have it all together. I'm going to tell you an episode that just, shout out to Jason Wilson. Jason Wilson came on my podcast. Jason Wilson is a man that literally helps men unlock emotional intelligence and debunk toxic masculinity. He has this amazing young male mentorship program called the Cave of Adullam in Detroit, where he teaches young boys emotional intelligence.
You know what? There is the so-called toxic masculinity, okay? Those things, they are there, they do exist. However, let's be honest. Feminism has taken over in our culture, and it's alive and well in the church. So much so that women, they don't know their place. They don't know their place in the home. They don't know their place in the society. They don't know their place in the culture. Why? Because we've been programmed like, all the women independent. You see what I'm saying? Like, you are the boss chick. You are all these other things. Okay? That's absolutely the issue. What that guy was doing is exactly what a man should be doing. Okay? That guy was like, don't you worry. I'm going to take care of you. Okay? You're sick and everything else. don't worry. You see what I'm saying? That was a good attitude for a man to have. The question to ask, was Niyah willing to let that happen? Because if Niyah was not willing to let that happen, guess what? That's going to mess up a guy. Because it's just like, okay, he's out here. You know what I mean? I got this. You know what I mean? Chill. As a woman, you should be willing to be like, you know what? Yes, I'll submit to that. But, let's not forget these people were not married, okay? So, he got what he deserved. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, you want to operate in the role of a husband, but you're not a husband. So you don't get the privileges of the husband when it comes to, he shouldn't have gotten the privileges of the husband, okay? So there are two things that are happening over here, okay? That guy was operating as a husband, and yet he wasn't a husband. So that's on him. And then Niyah wanted to operate as a wife, but she was not operating as a wife. So that's where there was a disconnect. I'm going to say this again so you get it. The fiancé was operating as a husband, okay? Niyah was not operating as a wife. She wanted to be a wife, but she was not operating as a wife. And that's where they had that breakdown. I can submit this to you. If Niyah, in that relationship, which we do not condone at all, but if she was operating in that relationship as a wife, and that guy was feeling like, you know what? I'm in charge of this castle. I'm the man. This is my boo. I take care of business and everything else. Maybe that guy would have taken this lady, down the aisle and everything else. Because she already showed this man, almost like, I don't necessarily need you. I can take care of myself because I'm doing all these other things, okay? Men do not like that. Because, like, at that point, the guy sees that you are in charge. I can never be in charge. They're inherently, they're supposed to be in charge. So already, those are the things like, okay, that's why they ended up, they were roommates. Okay, they were roommates. She moved in as a feminist in their relationship. Maybe not through a thought of hers, but because this is a culture that we have, guys, okay? This is just how people think that it's normal. And when you talk about these things, people look at you that you're old school. What are you talking about? Every time people move like that, it always ruins relationship. It always ruins relationship. And every time that I've seen Niyah, like every time, she only talks about her mom, okay? So, I did this with my mom, this, and all these other things, right? There's nothing wrong with that issue, but that tells me that it's that independence that she feels that she has nowhere else to draw from in terms of how you relate when it comes to a man, okay? These are the things that are going to happen when you grow up in a household where a woman is in charge. Even if a man is in the household, if a mother is in charge of the household, that's why you see it's we are in a matriarchal culture. Okay, look at a lot of NFL guys or these athletes. Most of them, all you hear, they only talk about their mom. They only talk about the mom. I get it. Most of them, they grew up with their mom because their dads were absent. So because they didn't have that male figures in their life, they will fall prey to a feminist woman in their relationship. It's there's a lot that goes with this, okay? But if you guys are confused with what I'm saying, you have a question, put a question. I'll be able to answer it, okay? I'll be able to answer it. All right, let's continue.
Intelligence through martial arts. And I have never forgot this one line he said on my podcast at a point where he was struggling. He was married. His wife was the breadwinner. She was an RN making money. He started working multiple jobs to try to make ends meet. And to the point that he almost killed himself, a forklift fell on him off of a dock. But he said something so key. He said, I had to learn something. Me and Nicole got it together. Mm-hmm. Most men are never programmed that. We're never taught to get it together with your wife. It's like, I got you. If you don't want to work, don't work. If you don't want to do this. And he know he can't do it on his own. That's why I believe that most men die before women out of stress because they carry all this stuff. Your ex-fiance was carrying stress for months longer than he was willing to admit it to you. And you said, all you had to do is just tell me and I would have lifted that up off you. But Jason Wilson said, we got.
I disagree with what Latinas is saying. Niyah has told us what happened. Okay. So to me, you need to judge her based upon the things that she has said, not what happened to somebody else. Okay. There's nothing wrong women working. There's nothing wrong a man working. Okay. You and your husband, you are absolutely a team. So you're doing things, building your family, you're doing things together. We are not against that. The issue, we want to make sure that women are aware of, like, it does not, how do I say, your pocketbook does not dictate that you are in charge of your home. Your husband is in charge of your home because that's how God has designed things, not your bank account. Okay, so even if the guy is making, 50K or 100K, you are making six figures, it does not make him less of a man because he's making less money than a woman. So this is the problem. Like, people, they judge their relationship superficially. You are making a man to be a man based upon how much money he has. Okay, like, no, where do you get that in scripture? A man is not defined by his bank account, guys. Okay, that's not true. If that is the case, then what happens? The people who live in rural areas, they're not making six figures. They are married. They're taking care of business. So this is the materialism that we do have. Okay, you cannot, like, if other people have the money, they have successful, they're living the six figures, fine and good. Okay, there'll always be people like that. Whatever this guy was making will be like, you know what? This is, if, I don't know, we are living downtown, whatever, Dallas, you know what? I think we need to move. We shouldn't be moving downtown. Let's move whatever in the neighborhood, whatever the case may be, right? So that everything should be home. It should be okay. It does not make him less of a man. But these people, it's like, okay, a man is a man because he's able to maintain your so-called lifestyle. And when you look at the lifestyle, it's always material things, guys. It's always material things. If that was the case, I always say this, then there shouldn't be any divorces in Hollywood. Everybody's successful in Hollywood. These people are rich in Hollywood. Look at their marriages. Look at their relationships. How come their relationships are not working? If the issue is about the bank account, come on now.
Got it together. And that's why I'm glad you were able to unpack this, because at the end of the day, your ex-fiance is going to feel seen by me even saying that. And not just him, other men who say, because I'm telling y'all, and I need every woman to hear this right now. When I ask men, and y'all seen them on my podcast, and I'll ask them, why aren't you married? They say, I'm not where I want to be financially. And I say to them, what if you linking up with your purpose partner helps you get there faster?
Yeah. And what did God say? What did God say?
I will give you your suitable helper. We get it all wrong. I'm going to provide you your suitable helper. And even when I read that before, I said, well, God, why would you give him his suitable helper after he done named all the animals? They could have cut that down by 50%. Why would you have him do all that work? God said, because that was the work he was supposed to do in this single season. I had so much more in store for him as a married couple that he.
No. We will not accept any explanation that is in reference to scriptures that is not matching the scriptures. Absolutely not. Not over here, guys. That is not going to happen. That will not happen. We're not going to entertain. This tells me I cannot wait to read this book, guys. Okay? I cannot. You know what? If people are buying this book, they better buy it now. Because when I critique this book, people are going to stop buying that book, okay? Be that as it may. What Latinas just said here is not true. It sounds good on the surface, okay? I'm like, oh my gosh, man. Latinas, no, okay? What did he say? In case you miss it, guys. Okay, so this is what he's saying. God says he's going to give a suitable helper to Adam, right? And then he went on like, if Eve had showed up earlier, then the work could have been cut in half in naming the animals. That's what he said. And here's why, okay? Guys, male headship is rooted in creation. Patriarchy, the word patriarchy, I know people hate this. Patriarchy is already rooted in creation, okay? That is precisely the reason why God created Adam first, okay? God could have created Eve first, but that's not what happened. And oh, by the way, okay, we don't, Genesis, everything, what I'm saying is in Genesis, guys, okay? If we go there, we'll be here till cows come home. So what you have in Genesis, okay? God created Adam first. From what? From the dust of the ground, okay? He created Adam. And then when he created Adam, okay, because Adam was created first, the firstborn, Adam, like in Hebrew culture, right? This is authority, okay? That's why Jesus, Jesus is the second Adam, okay? Who never sinned, got everything else perfect. Adam is the first Adam, you know what I mean? The firstborn, right? The son of God. At the beginning over there in creation, you have Adam, okay? So that's authority right there by virtue of being first, okay? And in Hebrew culture, first is not like, oh, you were number one, therefore no. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Isaac and Ishmael. Ishmael was the firstborn. You know what I mean? The first child of Abraham. But it's Isaac. Why? Because he's the one who carries the name, the authority, all those other things, okay? That's another subject for another day. But let's go back to what Latira is saying. So Adam was created first. Male headship already from creation. Adam was given the authority to do what? To name the animals. Adam is the one who was naming the animals, okay? That is the sign of authority. If somebody is naming somebody, the person doing that issue, that is a sign of authority. That's number 2 right there, okay? And then when Eve came on the scene, Adam is the one who named Eve. That is the reason why when you get married, you take your husbands, okay? That is a sign of authority. So, and not only that, when they sinned, okay, do you know what God was saying, Adam, where are you? Okay? God is all knowing. Why was God asking Adam where he was? Because he was the one who was in charge. He was the one who was responsible. And when you read Timothy, it says like, Eve is the one who was deceived. Why do you think the serpent went to Eve? Why didn't the serpent went to Adam? It's not like the serpent didn't know that Adam was there. You see what I'm saying? And even when it came to Eve, right? Eve was not created from the dust of the ground. Eve was, was the rib, right, of Adam, right? A part of Adam, boom, I'm going to make Eve fashioned. You see what I'm saying? So this is where you're having the order of creation, how God wants things to be. So when Eve came in, right, what she has is like, okay, the mandate for both of them to procreate, be fruitful and multiply. This is for both of them. You see what I'm saying? Because one person cannot do that. You see what I'm saying? And fill the earth and do all these other things. She is the mother of I don't want to use the mother of creation or this other. It might sound new age. But you guys get the point, right? That is the reason why, okay? And then Eve is just there. That's why a man leads, a woman submits. The picture you have over there is the military, okay? So when you're in military, when they come, all you do is yes, sir, no, sir. There is no but, if, and everything else. That's not how it works in the military, okay? You receive the orders, you obey the orders, you execute the orders. That's it. It's one direction, okay? It's one direction. It's from the husband to the wife. That's it. Children, obey your parents. Wives, submit to your husbands. Husbands, love your wives. That's it. Anytime this issue is reversed, for whatever reason it's against the word of God. And there's always consequences. You might not see them right now, but there will be consequences. Why? God is not mocked. So Lateras is telling us what? And if you're going to write about love, I want to make sure that you're going to define love here, biblically speaking. Not whatever this culture is saying. So already, how you don't know why. All right, guys, let's continue. I cannot believe this.
Needs his wife for. I tell Ashley this all the time, and I tell the audience this all the time. I said, I built Dear Future Wifey podcast over the last 5.5 years, and it's become one of the biggest relationship podcasts in the Black community. But this is nothing compared to what it is and what it's going to be with her beside me. Mm-hmm. I knew it because I'm humble enough to know that God brought me my suitable helper, that the things that we'll be able to accomplish together is 10x. But a lot of men don't understand that. They try to get there first and then go get their woman. And truth be told is that now they're vetting that suitable helper through very discriminate eyes, wondering if their motives is correct because they're like, oh, now you want me because I had this. Back then you didn't want me. Now I'm hot. Now y'all on me. We say stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And we say that.
Okay, so yes, you know, some truth to what Lateras is saying, okay? You know, you have husband and wife, it's a team. Things are going to, you know, yes, you're going to accomplish more, all those other things. I'm not against that, I agree. But this is the question that I do ask. Lateras divorced in 2015. So the question I ask, from 2015 to 2025, if you believe the things that are coming out of your mouth with your own testimony, why didn't you get married in 2016, in 2017, in 2018, in 2019, in 2020, 21, for the past 10 years? If what you're saying is what you believe, and if your statement is going to be, you did not believe those things until November when you married Ashley, where is your retraction? That, guys, I'm out here, I want to issue a retraction. I want to apologize. For the past 10 years, I was not saying the things that I'm saying right now. Where is that issue? If there is there, I would like to hear. I would like to hear it. So this is the problem. So to me, I'm like, okay, if you believe what you're saying right now, I need an explanation why how come you didn't marry for the past 10 years? And you cannot tell me that there was no women there. Nobody's going to ever believe that. Okay? Nobody's ever going to believe that. You see what I'm saying? So it looks like now, almost like, okay, now that you are married, now you want to throw stones. Oh, men shouldn't do this, men shouldn't do this. The very same things that you were doing for the past 10 years. That makes you a hypocrite. That makes you a hypocrite. Because to my knowledge, you haven't come out like, you know, guys, I know I promoted this now. I'm no longer doing this, okay? And he's friends with O'Neill. O'Neill is 40 years old. And we know the story that young man has been saying. So I was just like, okay, which is it? Which is it? Okay? So it's not like Ashley has shown up in the picture that everything else has been erased. The stuff is still out there, guys. The episodes are still on his program. You know what I mean? So at this point, maybe it's time to be like, you know what? I'm going to get rid of those programs and then I'm going to issue this particular statement. Then I'll keep quiet. But every time you say those things, my question is always going to be, if you believe this, what you're saying, was this statement true 10 years ago prior to you putting a ring on Ashley? I would like to know that part, guys. Okay? Yes. So this is the thing, because right now, it almost like, oh, now I got married, everybody should leave me alone. Nobody should question anything about Lateras. And when you question, oh, you guys, no. You know what? I'm glad that they are actually married. But just because they are married, that does not erase. He's saying this thing now because he's married. Hello? Come on now, guys. Okay. I miss like somebody had put out whatever question. You know, greetings, brown girl. I think, you know, Lateras purposely chose Ashley. Yeah, she is the boss chick because I was just like, the girl did trip, man. She was like, okay, 75K, I'll drop it. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, yeah. And, you know, she had a very successful business. She had her own place in California. So I think, you know, financially, she's absolutely good to go. The only thing that Ashley needed in her life was a husband. Yeah, so she got that. Yeah, she's definitely, you know, she's a boss chick for real. Yes. That sounds less of that. He has to be man or leader. I sense an attitude coming from him. Ashley, she's the, so far, yeah. I mean, like, so far, you know, she's, you know, she said things and then she said she wanted to be home, all these other things, and she went on the road and everything. Yeah, with everything that I've seen that there, she has showed that, you know what, she's submitting. Looks like it, if you ask me. Yeah, Ashley's a peacock proud of her. Shots fired. At this point, the Oscar should be dreading from Ashley. Niyah can't read because that guy looked after her financially. That wasn't her story. The tell us is all the way off. Yeah, man. Yes, exactly. That's what I say. I'm like, no, you know, we know what exactly she said. You know, somebody had asked a very good question for some reason. Arthur O'Neill is pretty, yes. But Arthur O'Neill said, but he wanted it by, in 2026. No, I think he was saying in 2025. He said that he didn't want to enter 2026 as a single man. To my knowledge, we're in 2026. Is Anthony O'Neill married? Did he get married that we didn't know about? Anthony O'Neill is in love with his money. Every time he talks about the wife, all he sees is the wife coming in to eat his money. So I'm like, you don't even know what marriage is. Because in your mind, it's money, 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 money. It's blinding you that you're missing out on relationships. Because in his mind, any woman comes along, they're just coming along because they want to take advantage of his finances. And I'm sure he will be making you sign a prenup on day one. I ain't signing no prenup. You are marrying me for better, for worse. For riches, for poor, and for riches. Now you have riches. You don't want me in your riches? Oh, man. Oh, yes, they're absolutely a perfect match. Yeah, doesn't want to get married. Let's just be, yes, I agree. But he's out there enjoying the fruits of the marriage, pretending otherwise. All right, guys, let's continue with this.
Instead of just saying, but if you had your suitable helper, when you didn't have nothing and you built something together, then you're able to say, okay, I see what you did, God. And so my thing is this. I'm not here to say you made a bad decision. You made the best decision you made in the time you made your decision. This is your learning. This is your growth. If you learn the nuggets that you're supposed to learn. That's why I talk.
Lateras is not going to tell Niyah if she made a bad decision. Why not? Niyah made a bad decision. The message for Niyah is repent of your bad decision. The next situation, make sure you are living with somebody who you're married to. Like, where's the message for repentance? If we're not telling people that they're sinners, why should they join into the kingdom? They might as stay outside as they are. The message is that wasn't wise. You sinned. You lived in sin. God is against that. You need to repent and then learn from that situation and then move on. The next relationship, honor God in your next relationship. If you are a type of person that you know you cannot preserve yourself, it is better for you to marry than to burn with passions. Living with a spouse is sinful according to the scriptures. So to say that you cannot say whether she made a bad decision or not, like, what are we doing here? Can you still say that? And how many people have made those bad decisions? Okay? So it's just like, no, these are the things that we absolutely learn. Already share, like, I lived with my husband prior for us to get married. I was out there in the world, okay? I knew that it was wrong, but I still did it anyway. My heart wasn't changed. But if I knew what I know now, there's no way I would have done it. So, like, where is the message for Niyah in that? So to me, I'm like, okay, so, and even when Niyah was asked, can you do this again? She could not answer. So to me, I'm like, okay, so Niyah, it's not more about her living with a boyfriend. It's about Niyah. You need your heart to be transformed. You need your heart to be changed. You cannot be falling in love with these material things. If you truly need to be saved and everything else, so when these men come along, you are going to be able to see them for who they are because now you have discernment. And that discernment is not going to come from all this. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be rooted in the word of God. But here we have Rateras who cannot tell Niyah if she ever made a bad decision or not. Okay. All right, guys.
About in the book Student of Love is that the heartbreak taught you something. Learn from it, grow from it. But what I am saying is when you are afforded the opportunity to experience love again, experience it through the mindset of being able to be fully aware of what you're receiving, and you don't have to go to the other end and go, wow, I wish I had known that then. Mm-hmm. And even to that brother, for your I was about to say his name, your ex-fiance, that he's able to look and go, okay, this hurt. But I recognize my own blind spots. I'm going to make sure that I articulate this stuff early. If I want my suitable helper, I'm going to say that and trust that person in this vulnerable moment and say, I ain't got it all together. I need you. And then see if she's your suitable helper to be able to say, all right, we're in the trenches together. And you go, wow. Me and Ashley had this funny joke. We were on the way getting our hair braided today, and we had a conversation that I want to do with my nephew. Taking him, I said, give him a scenario. I said, what would you do if you were at this fancy restaurant? So she and I went to celebrate, went to this nice restaurant yesterday to celebrate our first major daytime talk show, which is on the Tamron Hall show that we did that aired yesterday. And we were sitting there, and I said, man, I remember it was a time in my life I couldn't even afford to eat at a restaurant like this. And I said, I want to know what would my nephew's son who I adopted, what would he do if he sat here? He was trying to be impressive to a woman and brought her here and couldn't afford the meal. Say he only had $100, but the meal is $75, $80. What would he do in that scenario? And so I played it with her. I said, what would you do if I took you out to eat? You know, we just started dating, our first date, and I took you to this nice restaurant and I said, ooh, okay, I got about $100, you know, I was waiting for the check to come through and it ain't came through, but I got $100. I'm gonna let you go and order whatever you want to order, and then I'll just order, you know, maybe.
I don't even know why he's bringing that example. Guys, if a guy is taking you out, you know how much money you have in the pocket. Why are you taking the girl to an expensive restaurant? You very well know you don't have enough money in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make sense to me, you know? Remember that story when the guy was taking the girl to Cheesecake Factory? She was like, oh, no, you know, just take me back home. I'm not going to Cheesecake Factory. I said, woman. Oh, man. All right, let's see this.
A glass of water. Let you eat. I said, what would you do in a scenario like that if that happened? And what did you say?
I said, if he told me he had $100, I'm looking at these menu prices on the menu. I would say, why are we here? Let's go get a pizza. Yeah.
And I said, but I done got you all dressed up. You got your heels on, hair done, makeup done. You got a nice outfit on, and I'm all dressed up. And you tell me we could go to a pizza place all dressed up?
Absolutely.
And I said, that man will look at her and say, I found my wife. Because you're not judging me based upon a present situation. You're looking at the bigger picture. And he says, oh, she can rock with me. Mm-hmm. And so I say with men, instead of pretending like you got it all together, vet properly and see and test and say, I ain't got it. Be so.
Please don't take anything from that example, okay? It's a fraud example. To me, I'm looking at the guy that if anything, to me, that's a put off. You knew you didn't have your money. So why are you taking me to an expensive restaurant? You know very well you cannot afford that expensive restaurant. So why are we going to the expensive restaurant to begin with? So I am looking at you that you are trying to impress me. You're posing, and yet you don't have the money. So I'm looking at you like, okay, what's wrong with your heart? Why are you trying to show off, to pretend that you got it and you don't got it? That's why we are at this expensive restaurant. It's a different story. You know what I mean? From the beginning, you say, you know what? I'm taking you to this particular restaurant. Then the woman is demanding to go to an expensive restaurant. Then you know something else. But yeah, if you're taking me to Ruth Chris, I'm already assuming that, okay, all is well with you. So now when we get to Ruth Chris, we see the menu. All of a sudden, you are shocked about the menu, and then, sorry, do you guys get the point? It's a different story. Like, no, I'm like, Rates, why are you making that example? It doesn't make any sense. Okay? You're picking up the girl. You are taking her to eat. So you should be going to where, you know, you'll be able to afford. And now, if you're asking the girl to tell you where she wants to go, then you better be prepared, because you're asking her to say where she wants to go. You see what I mean? But at that point, you know, just be honest. Like, okay, mention 3 or 4 restaurants or whatever the case may be. Yeah. I don't want don't put women to the financial test to see what they are. It could be you are the one who has made a mistake. You know what I mean? Like, you take somebody to Ruth Chris, and then all of a sudden you cannot afford what's on the menu. Like, you didn't know what Ruth Chris is about. Does that make sense to you guys? You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so I was just like, I don't know, you guys. Let's
vulnerable and let your woman know that you ain't got it together. But if she's the right one, we can get it together.
And then, you know, if he's really a good guy, he'll say, why don't you take the rest of the pizza home with you?
So you can have lunch tomorrow.
Have lunch tomorrow. That's way better than the expensive restaurant where we're like counting our coins. Who wants to do that?
That's funny. And I love the fact that you said, had he told you that, you would have gotten to the trenches. And why? Why would you?
Because that's just what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I was taught.
Guys, I can tell you this. Even if a guy did all those things, you still wouldn't know if this guy has a good character. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's an easy game anybody can play. But does that tell you if a guy has a good character? It doesn't. So, you want to test, you want to know what the person is made of, not the things they can, anybody can make that. You see what I'm saying? Like, anybody can do that. That doesn't mean, you know what I mean? Yeah, if you're street smart, you know how to talk, Why do we have con artists? How come we have scammers? How many women have gotten scammed by the princes of Nigeria? Huh? Because they come with a sweet talk. Every time it works, it works. Why does it work? Come on, man.
Because I loved him.
Yeah, y'all making me emotional. Y'all got to keep Ashley, you talk, because I'm messed up.
What's so emotional about it? So these guys have found a way to represent that Niyah's relationship went to the website because the guy was not able to communicate financially to Niyah, and their relationship went to the website. That's not what happened. That is absolutely not what happened. How do we know that? Because that's exactly what Niyah said. Niyah said herself, their relationship was already over when both of them were making money. Both of them were working. Their relationship was already over. And even when they were living together and everything else, Niyah said she did contribute, financially, but the most of the guy contributed more to the finances of the home. And they lived together for 4 years, guys. So you cannot tell me that all of a sudden, 4 years later, this guy was like, okay, we are having financial issues. And it was her who called off the engagement. It wasn't the guy. The guy, I'm sure, would have still been living together. You know what I mean? And the ring is a very beautiful ring. I don't know if she ever returned it. Very beautiful ring. So, yeah, I'm confused. Like, now we've cast this guy that the engagement was destroyed because of finances. That's not what happened.
Right now.
It sounds like as much as the communication was good, there was missing communication. And I think that sometimes the hardest hills to climb are the ones where maybe we can communicate effectively, but our words are missing, or we don't know how to put them together, or we're afraid to put them together because it takes courage to have certain conversations. I think now that we kind of have the backstory, as we sort of finish out, I would love to know what was just for you the last straw where you said, this doesn't feel right. This isn't where I want to be forever. And how did you decide to ultimately say that this chapter of my life is ending?
I'm glad you remembered to come back there. Great job. Great job, co-host.
I think it was, honestly, I kind of touched on it before. I had said, I decided that I would, instead of, because I did feel bad. I felt almost like I was like nagging him, like, let's go do this, let's do that. You don't do this, you don't buy me flowers, you don't, it's like, you don't. And I felt bad because I could see him working.
Yeah.
And so I just, in that time where I kind of honestly, in a way, focused on me to give him, like, to let him have his space and figure it out, I found myself in a weird way. And I met women who just like spoke life into me. Things just started falling away, but like also into place. And I got like, just things became more clear. I just started becoming more clear, and it just felt like our time was running its course. And it just started to feel like we were kind of kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
And I was still trying to make it work, but I think I was trying to make it work out of guilt, knowing what he had invested and just the time and the energy and, both of us. And I just knew that wasn't a good reason to stay. But there really wasn't a straw. It just time. And I think us going on the break was I don't want to say it gave me the confidence or the courage to do what I felt like maybe was there, but it almost like gave me it almost like primed my emotions for it. Like we were on the break and I was going through the grief. And then it just happened. Like we were in therapy, and I remember.
I wish she had given us the name of the therapist where she was going to. Okay. Hey, I would have, I appreciate her. At least this part, she was honest, because when I was listening, what was that straw? What was that last thing that made you to walk away and everything else? All the time, I'm like, she's not answering that question. She's not explaining. She's not answering. And then she came and just said, like, you know what? There wasn't. It was just time. That's what she said, right? It wasn't. It was just time, which I do believe. Because for 4 years, their relationship was not ending for her to get the last thing, okay? This guy wasn't telling her, meet me at the altar in your white dress. So she realized that day wasn't going to come. Then she was like, you know what? Let me get out of here. So it's time, yeah. Whereas Latinas, and then they keep pushing, oh, the money issue, the money issue, the money issue. No. Guys, you know what? Oh, by the way, we got the book. And guys, we got the book, okay? And listen to this, okay? We're going to review. I just popped this issue, okay? Listen to this issue. It says this. On page 182, the topic is modern love versus biblical partnership, okay? Lateras, you don't want me to do the review of this book. But listen to this, guys, okay? It says, modern culture tells us to delay marriage until we have figured everything out. But let's be real. When do we ever have it all figured out? Growth doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in partnership. Okay? The Bible already told us this. 2 are better than 1. Okay, which I agree. So, that, this issue right here destroys his premise, okay? Lateras knew. In order for him to write, he wrote this book, okay, before Ashley. But he knew in order for him to be able to sell Student of Love, the love that is, we're talking about the love in marriage over here, that relationship, it would not make sense for him to be going on tour, to be doing whatever else he's doing as a single man. As a result, he had to get married as quickly as possible, so much so it had to coincide. By the time the book is coming out, Rateras had a missus around her. And this guy, guys, okay, he has fooled everybody, and I'll tell you why before we get to this book. And this is what he's done, okay? Notice what he has done. Rateras has gone, for some reason, that's what I saw, but I didn't have a way to explain it to you guys. That's why my title, the other video that I did, you know what I titled it? Honeymoon Tour. Honeymoon Tour. Everywhere Lateras has gone once he got married, he has not talked about the book. He has talked about the marriage. It was a honeymoon tour. It was showcasing Ashley. It was not showcasing the book. The only place where they talked about the book, you know where it was? Tamron Hall. That was the only place where Tamron Hall asked questions concerning with the book. And I bet you Tamron Hall never read this book. She's a big wig. I'm sure she has staffers. They read the book. That's why when Tamron Hall asked the very first question, oh, is serial data? He was like, no, I don't want that on my, I don't want that, okay? I would just say I want it to be biblical. I was unfaithful, okay? But we already did a video about that. And then what happened next? Ashley was in where? In a makeup room and everything else, okay? Ashley comes on the stage, and what were they talking about? It was the Ashley. It was the wedding. It was everything else. It wasn't the book, guys. And here's the kicker. You know where else they went? Jamal Bryant and Kerry Bryant. Jamal Bryant and Kerry Bryant endorsed the book before they read the book. How can you endorse the book that you haven't read? And how do we know they haven't read the book? They were given the book and their jacket at the end of the program. So there were no questions about the book. It was the questions about the wedding. It was the questions about the wedding. This book is talking about the Student of Love. This book is not talking about, oh, I met Ashley on day one. Oh, my wife this, my wife. That's not what this book is about. So this guy has fooled everybody, guys. He has gone on honeymoon tour, disguised as a book tour, because when he went to all those places, nobody asked questions about the book. But every interview endorsed the book. My question is, all those people who are endorsing the book, have they read the book? How can you be endorsing a book that you haven't read? You see where this is going, guys? I was like, oh, you gotta give it to Lateras. The dude knows marketing. He knows marketing. Because I was like, wait a minute. And then, remember what he said. His publicist could not allow him to go anywhere without who? Ashley. Why? Ashley never wrote the book. This book was written before Ashley showed up. And remember, Ashley said what? She wanted to be home, cook, Christmas tree, do Christmas, send the cards, all these other things. And she came out here with her smart mouth, okay? But they say the publicist, and Latera says, is outside of my hands. I promised Ashley she didn't want to be doing interviews, but my publicist told me, like, no, Ashley has to be there. It is a very good strategy, okay, to do it that way. You need to have Ashley with you. Because if you go there on your own, they're going to ask you questions about the book. But if you go there with Ashley, nobody's going to ask the book. Everybody's going to go by. Oh, look at Terrace is now married to Ashley. After 10 years, nobody's talking about the divorce, why he was divorced, and biblical divorce for that matter, for the past 10 years, how many women he dated. Oh, by the way, I wasn't a serial dater, whatever the case may be. Now you're going to tell us that modern culture tells us to delay marriage until we figured everything out. 10 years after you got divorced, your stuff wasn't figured out. Tell us, when are you coming on Berean Babes? I'm going to review the book. You have an open invitation. I have questions. We're going to ask you about the book. Okay? That will be a book tour. Okay? Open invitation to dear future wife. Because we need to get to the bottom of this. If you're serious, you've done the interviews, but nobody asked you about the book. Only Tamron Ho asked you about the book. And 1 or 2 questions. After that, it was Ashley. If you guys want to go on honeymoon tour, have at it. But if you're going to go on book tour, you need to be talking about the book. You need to be talking about the book, and that's not what happened. So yes, oh my goodness, I was just like, you know what? That was well planned and well executed. So it was not by accident, guys, okay? Putting out the book after the wedding was a strategy. And that was exactly what they have achieved. That's why when they went to these places, it was all about them talking about their how they met and everything else. And yet, how everything else was made was already written in the Essence article, Essence magazine. Everything was already there. That's why it was, brand deals and everything else. They were building all this up. We're going to do the Essence magazine. Ashley gets introduced on the wedding day. After the wedding day, the book drops. And now here we are, guys. And then Ashley is saying, people are making money doing videos about my husband and everything else. Now your husband has put things in writing over here, okay? We're going to hold his feet to the fire. We're going to hold his feet to the fire. Guys, do you see what I'm saying? You go look at the interviews that they have done, and you tell me what questions were asked about the book. If he was going on those places as a book tour. You get the point. I was just like, all right.
All lies will be exposed. That's all.
Some of y'all better get y'all discernment together.
Exactly. So you guys, you see how we've been fooled over here. That was a honeymoon tour, and the books, they've gone out. The same thing when they went to Jamal Brand, right? The entry was about the book. I'm not against him writing the book, him making the sales about the book. I'm not against that. But if you're going to go on an interview, and the interview is about the book, we need to be discussing what the book is about. If you're going to go on an interview to introduce Ashley to honeymoon tour, then that is a honeymoon tour I have no problem with. You see what I'm saying? I was just like, man, Terrace, all right now. Yeah, it makes sense, man. Yeah, you had to be married if you're going to be out here talking about love like this, okay? Yeah. So right on time, right on schedule. So the idea of him that he prophesied that he was going to be married before the end of the year, do not buy that story. Because when you are writing the book, the manuscript, everything is scheduled. So this was already scheduled coming out in 2026. So whatever else he was going to do, he had to make sure by the time this book comes out, he should have put a ring on a lady. And yes, Ashley was the one. And let's not forget, it was the same Lateras who presented Ashley. If anybody else was available to take Ashley or on his program, okay? And, I guess there were no takers. That's what happened. You know what I mean? It's right there. They did that. You know what I mean? Trying to see if anybody wants to shoot a shot for Ashley. You cannot tell me that if you're in love with a lady, you're going to let that lady go and let other people, if they're available, to take that lady. If you are interested in that particular woman, there's no way. I just don't see it. Okay? If you're interested in it, you just don't do it. But that's what happened. Okay? So I was just like, wait a minute. Honeymoon tour. But you were there doing the book. That's why to me it wasn't making sense. I'm like, wait a minute. If your wife doesn't want to go to these places, she doesn't have to go. You have the power. And Lateras said this himself, that it is out of my control. There's nothing I can do. My publicist, that's why I had to tell, Ashley, I'm sorry. I made a promise to Ashley. She wasn't going to go to all these interviews and these interviews. So the question to ask to the publicist is, why do you want Ashley to be there when Lateras is going to do an interview about the book that Ashley never wrote? What was the reason? Hello? You see? Hey. Oh, no. Guys, you know what? Out here, we are not going to be fooled, guys. Okay? Yes. Hey, guys. Did you see that, guys? That's what happened. Honeymoon tour disguised as a book tour, guys. Yes. I'm like, I cannot wait to do a book review. Yeah, man. So I'm like, where is the book? Who has reviewed the book? Because you're going for, book tour people. Oh, what happened? That's not what has happened. You can go and look at all those interviews they've done. Every one of them is just them talking about how they made all these other things, which I'm not against. It's either that or it's the book tour. Yeah? Probably. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, man. La. That's what happened, man. Jennifer, they pour who on our eyes, man. Slide of hand. You know what I mean? We're going to present the book, but we're going to show you Ashley. You know what I mean? And they wear that, like the beautiful bride. Oh, you better come over here. That would be nice, man. Yes, have open. Yes. Yes, guys. So that's what happened. All right, it's Friday. We're out here, guys. I'm so glad that you guys are here. All right, fine. Let's continue. Because when I remember that, I'm like, oh no. Where is? Because that's why when we did the video about that lady, we were all kind of like, oh wow, that's what is in the book. That's what's in the book. That's what made us buy the book, guys. Remember when we just did the video? Because it was just like, yeah, when I was like, duh, yes, he's gone on book tour, but there hasn't been anything what is written in this book. You know what I mean? Of course, you're not going to say anything in the book, but it was just like, no, you're right. We have no clue. We know everything, the honeymoon, the how much the wedding costed, Ashley freezing her eggs, all those other things we know. But we don't know the context of the book. It's just, okay, student of love. We just know that. Wait a minute. No, man. We're not going to be fooled out here. All right, fine. Guys, let's finish up. Here we go.
She said something like, how do you guys want to move forward? And I just said it. I can't do it anymore. Mm-hmm. And
I love that you got around women. And I love that you did what you needed to do.
Absolutely.
To thine own self be true.
Yep.
Because once you say I do, you are committed. And I believe that whatever your spirit was discerning, there will be learnings. You will look back. You will say and see where you could have done better. But when you take those vows, I believe that you will take them forever. I believe that you are brilliant and beautiful and a light, and that God has so much in store for you as a wife. And so I want you during this season to stay encouraged, stay connected to great women, to great people, seek wisdom, watch this back, take notes, listen to what people who are wise say, and drown out the people on the internet who are trying to destroy you.
Yep. That's real.
Thank you.
And get in your word, read your word, and discover what it is that who God says you are. Because again, a lot of people don't give people grace to the journey. But if they were honest with themselves, oh my God, they would tell you. I laugh at people on social media because I'll be like, you wouldn't put your business, you wouldn't put what you did at 55 in the video. You wouldn't do what you just did last week in the video. You know what I'm saying? That's why I laugh at people like that. And so I don't look at your journey and your story like, oh, I can't believe she did that. I was like, it's a part of the journey. It's the reason why I wrote this book. I said, this is the journey. If people don't give up on the journey and they can learn from the decisions they made and overcome it and grow and grow and grow, they'll look back and then you'll understand why that no in the past needed to be a no. When you wanted it to be a yes. When you, I'm telling you, Niyah, no one knows how hard it was for you to end it, but you. You can't convince nobody that. You can tell it. You can shed tears this whole episode and people like, they fake. She ain't crying for real. Now, why'd you end it if you're going to be crying today? They be making up all kinds of toxic ideas. You're like, what are you thinking of? Drown that nonsense out. The reason why is because you went through the process and it still hurts. Not that it hurt then, it still hurts. And so that's the part of the journey. That's the part of your journey. And I'll ask you this just for the sake of asking, do you still desire marriage?
I do.
What would you do different this time around?
I would be more intentional, honestly, and not come off my square. It's funny because before I met him, I was so in my word and I was so like locked in with Christ and just my faith and my journey spiritually. And it did, the last 4 years kind of become like an on and off thing. And I think in this season now, like that's my main focus.
Good.
I mean, I've been to church every Sunday since I've left and moved out. And I've been in my Bible and I've just really been focusing. Like that's what has been keeping me honestly like afloat. People ask me, are you okay? I'm like, girl, yes. Like I'm not, because I know where my heart is, and I know.
You know what, brown girl? That's a very good point that you actually bring up. Especially, yes, she just got married. You definitely need to grow. You need to have some experience in your marriage if you will be giving marriage advice to folks. Because you can, it's the same thing, kind of like if somebody is a new believer, right? Like if somebody, even the scripture says as much, right? I'm just drawing the principle out of it, right? If somebody is a new covenant, a new believer, right? Don't make him an elder or else they will be puffed up, okay? So, she is a newlywed and everything else. I'll be like, So the things that you don't know, the things that you're learning, those other things, like, get that under your belt and everything. Then you'll be able to, be able to share and everything, especially or in a public stage like this. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's just there, you and your home girl, whatever you're talking. Those are different circumstances, situation. But if you're going to be on a platform and you're out there giving the so-called marriages advice and everything else, you've only been married for 2 months and everything. And then you also come out as, it's kind of like, I know, man. You need to end some stripes a little bit is absolutely what I would say. The best place where she can just be is in these things, right? Like, okay, I don't think they'll put cameras in their home, I wouldn't advise it. It ruins people's relationships time and time again. You know what I mean? Time and time again. Yeah. So, but you just have to be wise about it, okay? I'm not saying that if somebody is not married, they cannot say something that's actually true. Truth is truth, but there is certain wisdom that comes with where you are at in stage in life. You know what I mean? So just be discerning when it comes to certain things, so to speak. Yeah. And, they ask her, she's not going to, that's also the other thing, right? Right there, that was a red flag right there, okay? That's why the scripture says, do not marry unequally yoked, okay? So you are in the relationship with this person. You are pursuing Christ. They are not pursuing Christ. If you get yoked to those people, guess what? Your light is going to be diminished. So you find yourself, what she said, she used to go to church and everything else. She got involved with this guy. She forgot about going to church. Those are the things that happen, which means you're not equally yoked to that particular person. So these are the things that you need to find out prior to living with somebody for 4 years. These are the things you can find out prior to you walking down the aisle. You see what I'm saying? Like, what's your spiritual walk? Those are the things that you need to know. Because if homeboy is not a believer and you are, trust and believe, if you get married, that is still marriage, these are the things that are going to be happening. You want to go to church, they don't want to go to church. You see what I'm saying? It will just bring so much problems. That's why if somebody is a believer, you're a believer, you are roaring in the same direction. You see what I'm saying? You are going the same direction. You're pursuing the same things. It's so much better. It's absolutely better. So I didn't, hopefully that's what she said, like, okay, now she's going to stay. She's been going to church, which is actually a very good thing. And to me, I think she should focus on herself, getting rooted and grounded in Christ, as opposed rushing into a relationship is what I would absolutely say. That was a good call right there, Brown Girl Yagia. Yes, he thinks people that call him out are being toxic. No, it's not being toxic. Like, to me, I'm like, okay, if that's why I just make sure whatever we are judging about them, whatever we're saying, is the things they've said it. It's the stuff in their program. It's the things they have said, like, no, this stuff is not matching. This stuff is not matching. That's why I'm so glad they've put it in writing. So how are they going to tell us that we're toxic? We're just reading him in his own words. Okay? And usually people say those things. There's this tendency of people thinking when you say something, they always want toxic, whatever. What? Nobody wants correction these days. People just want to be praised. You heard what he said? Oh, I can never say if what you did was right or wrong and everything else. Yeah, it was wrong. Why can't we say that? I'm glad she's going to church. I'm glad she actually walked away. I'm glad she didn't continue to get married to this guy. They would have ended up in divorce. So that was actually a good thing. We've said those things, We said those things. So, like, no, it's this issue, like people, especially people who are into false indoctrination, false teachings, they never want to hear anything else. All they want is praise. But no, the New Testament warns about false teachers. Beware. If things are doing things that are actually good, we commend that. You know what I mean? We want people to be doing those things. But there's a lot of all these other things that are poisoning a lot of young women, a lot of young men. They're being poisoned. So why are we going to keep quiet here? We know people are going down to the ditch. You see what I'm saying? They're about to fall off the cliff. And we're going to keep quiet because people are going to say we're toxic. Would rather snatch them out of the fire, even though they think it's toxic, so be it, right? Snatch them out of the fire. Have mercy on those who doubt. So that's what we're out here, But we need to be careful that we also don't get, stained by these smoke garments. That's why we have to be wise, right? Mark and avoid, watch out. Keep your eyes open. Come on, man. The devil is seeking someone to devour, He's roaring around like a lion. We don't want to be devoured. We don't want you to be devoured, young, beautiful girl and everything else. Like, no, we don't want you to be swept in with this culture. Come out from among them. You be separate. If you name the name of Christ, we're out here. We're going to speak those things. We don't do videos about Megan Stallion over here. And we don't do videos about Cardi B here. You know what I'm saying? Because they're out there in the world. They're doing what they want in the world. That's what they should be doing. Our message to them is repent and come out. Anybody who is out here and saying they're Christian and everything, we are out here making sure, like, no, if you're saying you're a Christian, that's not how you roll. If you're saying you're a Christian, watch out. Do this, do that, do this. That's what we're going to do. Okay? Yeah. Beyonce stops her thing, we'll be like, okay, you say that you're a Christian, how are you moving like this? But as it is right now, like they're doing the stuff that people do in the world. We are in this world, but not of this world. So we are out here to warn our people. Okay, we're going to warn our people left and right. And next time, Niyah, do not entertain someone, yes, especially living with them. Absolutely not, yeah? Yes. That's why I just said, you want to date? Like she said she wants to get married, right? Which is actually a very good thing. And you know what? You need to make that clear. Like, okay, you meet a guy, like, okay, you know what? I want to get married. That's what I desire. And if the homeboy doesn't want to get married, they'll tell you, you know what? No, I'm just looking to have a good time and everything. Then you know that's not the guy. You see what I'm saying? You absolutely know that's not the guy. Because there's plenty of people who just want to have a good time. They want the so-called recreation dating. It's unbiblical, you know? Like you're dating with the purpose. You're dating with the purpose. The end goal is to get married. That's the goal and that's the plan and that's the direction that you're going. If things happen along the way, you end up not getting married, I understand that. But your clear conscience, your intentions was what? That's where you're going. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, like even to me, like when I met my husband at the beginning, I said it out loud. I said, you know what? I want to get married. The next relationship I'm involved in, I want to get married. If that's not what you're looking for, I ain't your girl. Okay? And it was like, you know what? I actually also wants to get married. That's also what I desire. I'm like, all right, fine. Let's make it happen. You know? And here we are. Okay? 16 plus 5 months later, by God's grace. Can you imagine? Yes. So yeah, those are the things. So it's not like men are not threatened by that. If that's what they want, they're going to say that's also what they want. And if it's not, they're not ready to get married, they'll be like, we'll see, you know, maybe down the road. They might not necessarily say no right. Oh, we'll see what's going to happen down the road and everything else. Will be like, no, I know what I want. So if you're still investigating what's going to happen down the road, I'm not your girl. That's it. You have to be clear. Otherwise, 4 years later, look at this young lady on this couch crying. But all that would have been avoided 4 years ago. And then this guy put a ring on it that even made her stay even longer. And nothing happened. If somebody's serious about marrying you, they will marry you. They're not going to play games. They're not going to make you wait 4 years. It's not going to happen. But if you allow it, yes, even 10 years, you'll be waiting 10 years. And that's not going to happen. Yeah. You know, it's what you allow to happen. Okay? If you're serious and the person is serious, it will happen. You know what I mean? Like you be like, this is the direction where I'm heading. If that's not where you're going, I'm not your girl. You know, like, yeah. You know, pray about these things and be settled in it. But when you're desperate, you're going to find yourself, you're going to compromise. When you're desperate, you're going to compromise. Because you feel like, oh, I'm going to lose this guy. So, you know what? Let me show him the cookies. Oh, I'm going to lose this guy. Let me move in. Oh, I'm going to lose this guy. You're going to compromise. But if you're secure in who you are, your identity is in Christ, you're fine where you are. If the guy is out there playing games, you're not going to be tripping. You're not going to be tripping. You see what I'm saying? You know what you want. If the husband comes along, praise the Lord. If not, you know, with or that, you are content. You need to get to that place. So when these guys come along, you're going to smell them from a mile away like, no, this one wants games, this one wants games, this one wants games. You'll be able to see it like that. Boom, 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 just like that. Like it's not, like people always say, oh, no, you cannot. You'll be able to know. If not, there's people in your life that you trust. You'll be like, you know what? Can you keep an eye on that guy? You know, let me know. You can always do an investigation. You know what I'm saying? There's people around you. They can be like, oh, this is what we've seen. This is what we've seen. Okay, we're not sure about this. You know, we like these good qualities in him and everything else. When you're not around, this is how this guy was. You'll be able to see those things. So it's not a mystery thing. People make it to be, you know, no. And when, you know, this is where I'm going. This is, yeah. So no, be honest. There will be people who come around who just wants to pretend. Everybody, oh no, I fear God. Oh yes, I'm a Christian. They will say that. But you will know them if they're for real. All right, guys, let's continue.
Like I know it's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. So I do believe in marriage, and I've learned so much from these last 4 years, and even, you know, going through the engagement and the emotions that come out of it and just what it takes to be a fiance. We were kind of playing fake marriage, you know, so even having to take on certain roles in that way, I've learned, you know, the kind of woman I want to be, the kind of woman I don't want to be, and even what I want and I don't want in a relationship, and how to navigate hardships, you know, because in marriage you can't walk away. And so I think, you know, God taught me surrender. He taught me obedience. But most importantly, he taught me how to trust. When I met him, I did not trust men whatsoever. I mean, when I say at that time he was exactly what I needed, I did not think that there was a man on earth who didn't cheat. Like, and
which is why you led in that video telling me he didn't cheat.
No, he did. You know, and I honestly, I said those words because I knew that if I didn't say something, it was going to assume, and then he would get the backlash or someone, you know, and I just wanted it to be, he's not on social media, he can't really defend himself. So I was like, I'm going to say it this way. And
yeah, the guy is not on social media and everything. I do believe her social media lifestyle played a role, because the guy is not into that. I'm suspecting that. Yeah, no, this is what the culture has taught women to believe. All men cheat. So you entering in a relationship with some doubts or not trusting. Why? Because after all men cheat. So no, not all men cheat. There are good men out there who honor themselves, who honor their relationships, who do have self-control. Okay, the guys in the world, like, they believe in cheating. They feel they're entitled to cheating, so they're gonna be doing those things. It's like, where are you finding these guys? Where are you looking to these guys? Okay, if you want to mess around with a homeboy who's out in the world and everything, that's par for the course. If somebody's telling you they're Christians and everything else, and their lifestyle is like out in the world, then you know, like, you shall know them by their fruits, guys. Okay, so these are the things that we should maintain. Like, no, don't, you know, don't believe all those things. See the good in people. See the good in people. If somebody is a cheater, you know, when you find them they were cheating, they will continue to be cheating. You know what I mean? Yeah. So people can lie, I get that. But for the most part, you know, no, there are good men out there.
Still,
you know, like, it's still, yeah. But I've learned so much, and the lessons that I take, you know, going forward, I think will carry me through. And of course, you know, the journey is the journey. It's lifelong. And I'm excited for this next chapter.
You know, that's the reason why I had you come on here, because I don't know if it's in your bio. What does your bio say? Does your bio say about you being a Christian? What does it say?
I might say,
what do you say?
Woman of God or something?
Yeah, you said something like that. And I said, okay, I can talk to her. Because if you're out here just over here breaking hearts and I can't hold you accountable to the Bible, then we just going to have just a wasted conversation.
Right.
You know, but because I read that and I told that.
No, Lateras, we're almost done with these interviews. You failed to hold this Niyah to the biblical principles. You already told her that you can never say what she did was bad or good. She lived with the boyfriend. She pursued the guy. She forced to move in. Like, how about those three things right there? How about those three things right there? Come on now.
I was like, oh, she's a Christian. Let's talk to her. Because that's why I say that your decision had to not just be based on you. It had to be, well, I assume. That's why I said, am I accurate in assuming that? Is that I assume that you had to check it through. And then I remember you said something about seeking therapy and having therapy. So I said, okay, so she has therapy around her. She's a woman of God. She's consulting with God. And then now you've been told about the family and all that. Then it's like, all right, you made this decision, and it was the best decision you could possibly make. That's just it. It doesn't even matter what I think. It doesn't matter what Ashley thinks. No matter what nobody thinks. Don't even matter what his parents think. No matter what your parents think. When you say I do, and this is what I want people to fully understand, is that an engagement is an engagement. But even at the wedding, they say, do anyone else see any just cause for these people not to be married? They ask the people that. Then they ask the person, do you, Lateras, accept Ashley? Ashley, do you accept Lateras? At any point, either of us could have said no. And they be like, well, we just wasted everybody's time. Well, pack up your stuff. We're going to go to this reception to eat the food, though, but it ain't going to be no wedding. They still wait for you to do that. And then the officiant still waits to, after all that's over with, to sign and decree it as final. So it's processes. Some people be like, got this ring, and then she called it off. Listen, at the beginning of last year, I said, the Dear Future Wifey podcast, I wanted to be a safe place where we increase marriage rates in the Black community and decrease divorce statistics. And we did both. At the end of the day, you're going to have a healthy marriage once that takes place, and we decrease divorce statistics while having you be able to be brave enough not to step out into something that you wasn't 100% sure about. You don't deserve that. He don't deserve that. Neither one of y'all families deserve that. And the world and the Christian faith do not deserve another divorce. And so that's the reason why I can celebrate you. I can salute you. I can also empathize with my brother who said,
yes, and amen to that, Rateros. At what point did the Christian community not deserve divorce? Was the Christian community there 10 years ago when you were married to your first wife? Was the Christian community at that time, did they deserve divorce or not? So now that you're married, all of a sudden the Christian community shouldn't be deserving divorce? Like, is it true now? It wasn't true then? Which is it? Which is it? You know, I do not support divorce, okay? I'm all for lifelong marriages and everything. But that's not me. This is not a situation, guys, okay? And it's not a secret. He divorced his wife. He didn't have biblical reasons to divorce his wife. Even if you believe in divorce, you need to have a biblical reason to divorce. He had none. He literally had none. Okay? And to my knowledge, there's never been a story for him to say, you know what? Afterwards, I try to go back to my wife. I try to reconcile with my wife for us to come back together. No, Ratara's moved on. 10 years later, here he is. Now, he wants to decrease divorce statistics in the Christian community. All right, guys.
like I did all this, and look, and you even said, I bet he's kicking himself right now, just even moving in. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting because I didn't know how y'all met, but you sat there and pretty much was like, hey, can I get your number? Can I get your number so we can work on this little fitness thing? But even him like, see, it just, I thought she liked me. I thought she want me. And it's not so much about that. It's about the fact that at the end of the day, and I want people to understand what's not supposed to work out, ain't supposed to work out. It just is. Like, celebrate that. And I know you wouldn't feel good about him celebrating. It didn't work out, thank Lord. You saved me from Niyah. You know what I'm saying? That's not what he wants. But the reality is we all need to look at failed relationships as that, to say, for I know the plans you have for me.
That's good.
You know, for I know the plans you have for me to prosper me and give me a great future.
I'm banning Latinas to be quoting scripture, guys. Okay, Latinas is bad. So, this is also, oh my gosh, wait, let me take off my glasses, okay? Guys, I don't know if I can take any more of this, okay? Because I can't believe this. So this is what Latinas is saying, okay? If it didn't work out, it was meant not to work out. Guys, okay. How do I say this? Anything that God has already spoken in the scriptures, our responsibility is to obey that. When we don't, we are in sin and we're in disobedience. We cannot come around and then say, oh, it was supposed to be like that. No. That's not how you should be looking at things, okay? So, for example, right, the scripture says, obey your parents. That's why it's a command. That's what the Bible teaches. You cannot come around and say, oh, I guess it was meant, because when I grew up, I didn't respect my parents. Oh, I guess it was meant to be. It didn't work out for me to obey my parents. No. If you didn't do it, you need to repent. You were in sin, you were in disobedience. You coming around saying like, oh, it wasn't supposed to wake up, that's it. We already know Niyah lived in with a boyfriend. So she was living in sin, she was fornicating, all those things were happening. So it's not just that things didn't work out, okay? And then you're not going to come back like, oh, the plans I have for you. is not to harm you, is to prosper you, quoting Jeremiah. So what are we saying here? So God's plans was for Niyah to move in, to be living with a boyfriend, and yet the same God who says it's only reserved for marriage. But God's plans were not to harm Niyah. Like, do you guys, do you understand what's happening over here? Like, no, that has got nothing to do with that issue, okay? Yes, we can get principle from that scripture. That scripture is specifically talking about the Jewish people when they were in exile, okay? The plans was like, God was going to restore them and everything. But fine, I'm not going to die anybody quoting, on the hill, anybody quoting that scripture. Niyah's situation, like, can you tell me where you're telling me that the plans of God was not to harm Niyah? Niyah was living with a boyfriend by her own admission, by her own choice, against what God has already spoken. So she's the one who was doing all those things. So the message for Niyah is repent from these things, move on, don't go back to these other things again. Honor God in your next relationship. Not to quote the scriptures, the plans I have for you is not to have for you. If it was meant not to work out, meant to work out. So what are you telling us? That, okay, it was meant for you to divorce your wife, and yet it was a biblical divorce? Is this where we're going now? Anybody can do that, guys. Anybody can play that game. Oh, no, it was meant for me. Oh, the plans that God has for me is not to prosper for me. Oh, my marriage didn't work out. It was meant not to work out. By who? Why didn't it work out? Like, are we taking responsibility anytime we sin? Are we repenting? Are we taking inventory in our own lives, the things that we're doing? Or is this issue anybody else to blame but you? I was just like, oh man, I tell us, guys.
That is what we all need to understand, is that God gives us a great future. When I look back on every relationship that didn't work out, I told Ashley this in August, after about less than a month of us dating. I said, April. I said August. April. Where I said, what did I won't even read it. What did I say? I think it's in your phone. Where I talked about she helped me, meeting her and knowing who she was in my life made every failed relationship make sense. Because it's literally saying that it just did not work out. And had I committed to any of that, knowing that this would come into my life, I would have made a bad decision. She made, ooh, I'm trying not to get emotional here. When you meet the person that God has grafted for your heart, everything that didn't work out, you say, it still worked out for my good. And I want to edit that scripture that says it worked out for my great. Because God gave me a woman so great that no matter what we go through, I'm willing to go through it with her. Like even when I hear you say certain things, and I'll be honest, because while you're saying certain things about stuff that didn't work out, I'll go through that with Ashley. There's nothing I wouldn't tap out. And I told her that. I said, you're going to just get rid of me. Because at the end of the day, I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to honor you. I'm going to be faithful to you. I ain't going nowhere. So the reality of it is I told her that she's my ultimate do-over. I've been through a divorce before. And I was able to rectify my mind and my heart and create core values of what I desired and what I wanted. And I didn't compromise until I got what I wanted. And so I encourage you the same. As you go through your core, I'm going to give you the book, Student of Love. And I want you to take this book home and I want you to read it. And I want you to share back with me the nuggets that you learn from it. And I guarantee you're going to be like, whoa, I wish I had this before I even accepted the engagement. It's going to, man. Ashley, go ahead, close us out. Tell her what she need to do next, because she's going to have me preach. I love when I see people in this process, because I love the process that you're in right now. It's ugly. It's an ugly process you're in right now. Because
I gotta give it to Lateras. This is a perfect, good interview. Having this lady with a relationship that didn't work out, to, good marketing. Like, you read this book, you're going to meet your Mr. Right and everything. So, no problem there. I would have done the same thing if I was him. So what I'm seeing, let him finish over here. Then I can.
You're getting the opinions of other people in a place in your life where you're still trying to find clarity within yourself, because you're like, hey, like, if you didn't think at all throughout this interview or prior to, what is he going to think when he sees the interview, then you're dead inside.
Yeah.
So your mind is like, I won't say too much stuff. Even when she asked you, because I'm going to tell you what I do. When Ashley asked you, what was the question you asked about? What are some things or do you mind sharing some things that how'd you word it? Because I don't want to change your wording about her ex. How did she word it to you?
She said, what were some of the things that led to kind of the disconnect or destruction?
And I watched you sit there and go, what am I comfortable sharing? I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. What am I comfortable? I just said, okay, so so I mean, so I had to start trying to get you together because in your mind you're like, I can't share all that.
Yeah.
You can just see people go through their thought process because the reality of it is like you're still got to protect. And you said this, and it didn't fall on deaf ears later on after Ashley asked you a question, but later on you said he's a very private person. So he don't have social media. So it's like, oh, this stuff can go viral out in this other world or go do whatever, and then he can't even defend himself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I heard you say that, and that was cool. And so the reality of that is, I understand you're still covering him. You're still trying to make sure, you know, you got family that's going to look at it. You got all of that. And so you're still navigating all that. And so I understand it. And at the end of the day, you did well in this interview. And I'm glad that you trusted us enough to be vulnerable in this, because the wound is still a little open. You know what I'm saying? It's still a little open wound. And so we got to be careful that we don't infect it while it's healing or have you running off because you say, I ain't doing no content no more. Forget this. I'm going to go get me a job at a telemarketing agency. I ain't going to do none of this content creation. Have you ever felt that in this process?
No, not really. Not really. And I think because I know like it doesn't have to be my end all be all. But I've also been in TV for 10 years. So I've heard a lot worse than what, you know, some people have said on the internet. Like,
really, people be talking about you while you're on TV?
Oh, for sure. I remember the first time I ever had braids in my hair. Oh, Lord. The amount of emails.
Okay. So I'm saying that, what was I going to say, guys? I lost my train of thought. Okay, so Lateras, right? Telling, oh, you know, you did well in this interview. Thank you for being vulnerable, all these other things, right? So the issue that I'm seeing over here, because if you have a platform, you have a responsibility to be able to bring out the truth, okay? And, you know, it's not always pretty, so to speak. But this idea of she came over there, she said all these things, and there wasn't anything to point her like, okay, my encouragement to you, my advice to you, your next relationship, don't move in with a guy until you get married. My advice to you, do you think, like maybe they didn't ask this question and everything, right? But who are people around you, things of that nature, right? Like, do you think it was a wise thing for you to move in to be living with your boyfriend? Ask her the questions. That way she can think and respond. You see what I mean? If you don't want to come out and just say it, then just do it that way. Do you think it was a God-honoring thing for you to be living with your boyfriend before marriage? And if she answers, why then did you do it that way? In your next relationship, are you going to honor God? You see what I'm saying? Like, you can ask that way and it'll still be a good interview and everything, because it's not just about Niyah, it's the people who are watching. Like, guys, if you just watching this interview, if you were living with your boyfriend, did you get any conviction to be like, oh, you know what? Maybe we need to get our affairs in order. You don't get that. It's just like, oh, too bad. Our stuff didn't work out. Me and my boo, we're doing fine here. You see what I'm saying? So like and his goal is to decrease marriages and decrease divorces. So you have an opportunity here where you can be able to educate your audience. Like, okay, guys, you see, this is what happened with Niyah. So men, if you're in this situation, please get married. Don't wait till you have whatever, this amount of money for you guys to get married, right? Just get married. Some other time, if you have money, you want to wear the big dress, you want to have big party, have at it. Most people are not getting married because what? They want to have this big wedding celebration, so to speak. You know, like, no. Meantime, you're compromising. Meantime, you're sinning. No, just get married. If time allows, comes, you have finances, yeah, you can have the big party and everything, but don't let you having the so-called big party get in the way of you honoring God. Because, you know, these are the things that most people put marriage off because they'll be like, oh, wow, it's going to cost us $150,000, $100,000, all those things. No, just get married, you know. put that 100,000 to something else. If you have it, you want to spend it, have at it. But don't let finances get in the way for you having a big party, right, so to speak. Yeah, so that's one thing that I didn't see from Rateras. It was almost, we were happy that you were here. We didn't want to push back. We didn't want to point the wrong things that you did in your relationship because I don't like that at all. You can have an interview where you can point the person, because she might be ignorant to the thing. She might think that is just okay, but you can point her. When she goes home, she'll think like, wow, so for 4 years, I was living with that guy. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, So now that you're going to church, what are you learning? Your next person, where are you looking? You see what I'm saying? Like, if somebody comes who doesn't go to church, who doesn't do any all these other things, but matches other things, what are you going to do? Yeah, I suspect her social media lifestyle is what made this guy not move forward with her. To me, if I put my money on that. Because the young lady, that's the thing. She's on social media. I think she does events and everything else. So she's doing things that, yeah. You can still do whatever social media without it ruining your relationship, so to speak. The parts where it's ruining it, you got to cut off. Look at what's Desmond and Christy. I just like, you know what? You guys, you brought the cameras. Sorry. These are the things that are going to happen. Yeah, so, well, all right, fine. Let's take a look at the scriptures here real quick, guys. Okay. All right, so Ephesians over here, right? So like when I was talking about, like, it's not about the finances, what the guy has in his pocket and everything. What man wants is, let's see, okay? Ephesians 5. This is a good book. I encourage readers to get into this issue. This issue will equip you to have biblical solid principles of what a biblical woman is and what it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Get into Ephesians, Titus 2. This is where you gotta be. So look what it says, right? However, let each one of you love his wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. This is one thing a man wants from their wife. The rest of the stuff is secondary. Anytime that if they were in that relationship, if that guy felt that she was not respected by Niyah, that wedding wasn't going to happen. This is it right here. You honor your husband, you respect your husband. You do these two things, you'll be home and dry. You'll be home and dry, okay? And these are actually hard things for women to do. That's why I actually said you need to submit, okay? You submitting to your husband shows that you respect your husband, shows that you honor your husband. But the Eve voice comes in your head, right? Because Eve is the one who is bringing the fruit to Adam. Like, let's just have this. And then Adam ate. And the Bible says Adam disobeyed. You know what? He knew what he was doing was wrong. Eve was deceived. Adam disobeyed. So if you know what the word of God teaches and you willingly do otherwise, you are culpable. You are responsible. All right. So, all right, fine. All right, fine. Ephesians 7:1 over here, okay? Now, concerning the matters about which she wrote, it is good for a man not to have relations with the woman, okay? But because of the temptation to ace, each man should have his own wife and each woman her own husband. So those guys, they were just living together for 4 years. The husband should give to his wife, that this is what it says over here, right? Right. Likewise, the wife to her husband. For the wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. So the scripture is clear of where these things are supposed to be taking place. You know what I mean? They're supposed to be taking place in the context of marriage. That's it. But because we live in our culture, it's like, you know what? It's fine. You can do anything else, but it always leads to problems. All right. What are you guys saying? Let's take a look at this. Pink Cross, I see you. I say, oh, these are newlyweds. If I'm the guy, I'm suing dear Joy. What are you talking about? Pink is not in love with. I guess I missed something there. Was not honest about what the word says. Her story was about marketing the book. Oh yes, man. Yes, that worked out real good. That worked out real good. It sounds like Niyah was pinning this man to be something he is not, to arrive at the assumption that all men cheat. Yes, I think so. Yeah, and like, because it says the guy is not on social media, the guy never cheated, or he just works hard. And, he's a good looking young man as well. So I think he's more laid back and private. And I think Niyah was too out there for him. And I don't think he felt like, I don't think Niyah would not have submitted to that to that guy. Like, I just don't see it. Tell Niyah, like, you know what, I think, you can do your business. You can do, you're on TV, you're reading news and everything, that's fine. But these influencer blogs, every time you're this, every time you're carpet ready, all these other red carpet ready, all this, maybe not. I just don't see that should have taken that well, if you ask me. Not at all. Not at all. I don't see it. I do not see it. All right, guys. So as you know, okay, we have pie chests, okay? So I'm going to read the book, guys, okay? So far the cover is on point, okay? And we'll be able to take some notes. At the end there, we'll be able to take some notes. So I'll read and we're going to come with a review, guys, okay? Yes. So yeah, we'll see this. It'll be quite interesting. It'll be quite interesting. So we have the book, we bought the book, we'll read it, we'll do a review. We'll do it nice, good justice and everything, yes. So, it was $30. I thought it was $22. All right, fine, yeah, so, Christian living, love, marriage, yeah, man. No, I got it on Amazon, guys. I bought the book. So I don't know if Gary Chapman read the book as well, because people do endorse books before they've read them. Yeah, so we'll read the book. We'll definitely do a review, okay? So you guys, this is the labor of love, guys. Labor of love, guys, okay? Labor of love, okay? So yes, guys. Okay, yeah. No refund, we'll read the book. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to the review. I'm looking forward to reading it and reviewing it, okay? Yes, so, because, Ashley has been calling us out there, Mrs. Whitfield, Yes. Hey. Yeah, but I just saw that this guy, there's a chapter over here. He wrote about the Essence Atkins. Remember what happened with Essence Atkins? So I was just like, okay. So I'm interested to see what he's going to write in there. I'm like, why are you putting Essence Atkins' story in here? Okay, all right. It is what it is, yeah. But there was, so apparently, do I find I don't even want to go there. Maybe we'll share it when we do their video, guys, Let me see. All right, you guys, I love you guys. I am so glad that you guys are here. Hold on, if I find it, we'll do it. If not, we'll save it for another day. Let's see. Let me see if so let's see. Is it here? Okay, anyway. Yeah, no worries. That's fine. I'll find it. I'll find the clip. We can do it next time when we do it. But I just saw that, Ashley we were speaking on interview. Or in fact, it was the Tamron Hall interview. So on the Tamron Hall interview, she says that there was a day that Terrace was waking late, was at the studio. And then Ashley was like, wait a minute, where is this guy calling, And they had to put, make sure, whatever, what do they call? location sharing, something like that. I'm not against that, married people having a location sharing. So I'm like, okay, so I guess Ashley was like panicking, like, oh, where's my husband at? You know, in the middle of the night, Ashley says, no, I was worried. Like, did something happen? It's so late and everything. Where is that? I'm like, okay. All right, Ashley. Want to know where her husband is at? And the husband was cooking in the studio, working so hard to give her a soft life. I'm like, okay. Yes, guys. But yes, guys. So, all right, guys. Yes, Sunrose. I'm also looking forward to it. It's going to be an exciting adventure. So I'm expecting you guys to show up when we do the review. I'm going to read it. We're going to do a review. We'll make sure we do good justice. You know, the packaging, excellent. Everything so far, so good. We're going to dive in. We'll take care of it. Yeah? Yes. So you guys, you are simply the best. This one is for you. Wait a minute. Why can't I hear you guys, man? Do we have? Oh, I don't know what happened. I always have I had the all eyes. Wait a minute. I must have touched something because that's how things happen here. Which one is that one? This one is for you guys. So thank you guys. I appreciate your viewership. So let's continue this conversation in the comment section. I want to see you in the comment street. Okay, guys? On your way out, make sure you like this live stream and double check to make sure you're a subscriber. And absolutely do not forget to hit that notification bell so you are notified. Okay? We're absolutely going to do the book review. I want to hear from you guys. It's going to be nice and exciting. All right, guys, make sure you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And join our membership on Berean Babes. And be sure to support me on Buy Me a Coffee. And be sure to follow me on all social media platforms. I have my Cash App over there. Okay, so anytime you are able to, please hook your sister up. But I'm so grateful that you're here. I appreciate you guys. You guys are simply the best. So stay tuned. More coming this week. Until next time, remember, theology matters. Thank you.